Shabbat Shalom, friends.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are so grateful that you are here to celebrate Shabbat with us. Because we are a temple of many different people, of many different heritages, of many different walks, and because we have many people at very different stages in their lives, sometimes we come in with different expectations of our services. However, I'm pretty sure we can find a happy medium if we realize a few things. One, we're probably all a little bit better off for the sounds of children playing in our sanctuary. But parents know there will be some times where we ask you to hold them tight just for some prayers that might be a little less appropriate to have the cries of children in our sanctuary. Also, we are broadcasting this service, so welcome to those of you who are at home watching. We're broadcasting this service live. That means you can get this recording afterwards, which means you can just sit and relax and enjoy the service. And when your children are participating in the service, they can look at you and they can see a wonderful face instead of seeing this, because nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see. They even get close-ups. It's pretty good. So let us bring in Shabbat together as one community, young and old. Let us sing for Shabbat. Page 12 in our Sidurim is where we'll begin.
Oh, come, let us sing to Adonai. Let us make a joyful noise to our rock and our Redeemer for our blessings and the wonders of creation. Joyful noise unto Adonai. שנה אקוט בדור, ואומרם טוי לבבהם. 40 שנה אקוט בדור, ואומרם טוי לבבהם. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נפריע לצרישנו. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נפריע לצרישנו.
We'll continue with our service this evening by welcoming our Sabbath angels. Shalom Aleichem can be found on page 24 in your Sidurim.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yai lai lai, V'achem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Li L'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Li L'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yai lai lai, Tzidchem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 2. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Please be seated. We'll continue with Lechadodi, which you can find on page 20.
Shamor v'zachor
continue with our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, which can be found on page 28 in our Sidurim. We stay standing for our call to worship. Here we stay standing typically all the way through the Shema, but if you find that you need a seat, feel free to take it.
תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני. המעריב ערבים.
Page 32.
Israel,
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. And if you would, please join me on page 37 in our Sidurim. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you're tired or whether you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. We're going to continue with our song of freedom. Now, just because we have children singing doesn't mean you can't sing too. They're loud, they're piped, they're mic, you'll still hear them. So you guys join us. Page 40, Michamocha. Next prayer is a prayer of comfort. It's the sage's first attempt at a lullaby. It is the Hashkivenu prayer, in which we invite God to spread over us a Sukkat Shalom, a shelter of peace for us, for our loved ones, and for all those who are in need.
One day,
Some prayers we save for ourselves, some prayers we save for our loved ones. When we pray, there might be so many thoughts going on in our heads, but our tradition offers us a chance to send someone else a prayer, to just package it, put a stamp on it, throw it in the mailbox, and send it their way. Whether it's somebody who might be sick, not feeling so well, maybe it's just somebody who's sad. Maybe we're thinking about a brother or a sister or a parent or a grandparent or a teacher or a friend, just somebody who could use a pick-me-up. Our Misha Berach is that prayer, but it's really only the first step. Because what would be better than saying a prayer for somebody than actually telling them that you were thinking about them, that you were praying for them? So let's take this as just step number one. We have a thought in mind of somebody. When we go home tonight, maybe tomorrow we do step two. We find that person, we find that friend, that brother or sister, parent or grandparent or loved one, and we let them know that we're thinking about them, just as we're thinking about them right now. Our Misha Berach prayer can be found in the middle of page 253 in our Siddurim. Now we have an opportunity for our own prayers. They might be varied. Some of us might be giving a prayer of thanks for having wonderful families, wonderful teachers, a wonderful school. Some of us might be praying because we need something, maybe a sign or maybe a blessing. Some of us might just be praying that our parents will take us to Chuck E. Cheese this weekend. It doesn't matter. It's your prayer. But the words of our traditional prayer can be found on page 46 to 62. We invite you to rise for your own silent prayer, whether those words can be found in the book or in your hearts this evening. Our Amidah is on page 46. stories where the hero wins in the middle of the movie and you're not quite sure what to do after that? Like, do you stay for the rest? No. Yes, we're staying for the rest of the movie in this case. Thank you. We're going to continue with a prayer for our country, which you can find in the middle of page 258 in our Sidurim. We'd love it if you could join us in reading this prayer for our country, friends. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and unite the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and don't ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. Continue with a prayer for Israel on page 259.
Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Gavalo, Baruch Medinas Yisrael, Rishit Sichas Yehulatenu.
Please join me. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise and defend, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Gavalo. Amen. Selah. Amen. Selah.
So, I asked Mrs. Weiser earlier, and she told me that our second graders said you guys are too old for Shabbat stories. Is that right? You're too old? No? Okay. Some of you are like, yeah, we're too old for Shabbat stories. But that's because you're sixth graders sitting in there. But okay, so we will do a Shabbat story then. But you have to put on your listening ears first, so let's find them. Shh, 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 shh. There we go. We're ready. Now, some of you may have been here for EC services. You may have heard this story earlier, because our Jewish ancestors from Ethiopia told an insightful tale of a king trying to decide upon an heir to his throne. And the king had 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. And each one felt that they were deserving to rule their father's kingdom after he was finished. And so the king devised a test. He built a room in the courtyard of the palace, and he told each of his children, "You have 1 week to fill up this room, and whoever fills it the most will be given my kingdom." And so the 3 children set off. Jonathan, the eldest son, had the first turn, and Jonathan was the strongest of all the 3 children. And he said to himself, "I can carry bigger and better rocks than anyone in this family. And so he went to the quarry and he found the biggest rocks he could find, and he carried them, and he filled up the room almost all the way to the tippy top. He patted himself on the shoulder and said, "Surely I will soon be king." His brother, Michael, the middle child, said, "I'm not as strong as my older brother, but Michael was clever. He could see that there were spaces in between the rocks. So he said, "I know what I'll do. I'm going to fill the room with sand. There'll be no spaces in between those grains of sand." And so he took a wheelbarrow, he went to the beach, and for 1 week, he just wheeled sand and more sand until he filled that room almost all the way to the top. He patted himself on the shoulder and said, "Soon I will be king." Then came the turn of the last of the children, Sarah, the youngest child. And her older brothers were rather mystified because Sarah wasn't bringing anything back or forth. In fact, for most of the week, she just sat outside the room. And then finally, they came to see what Sarah had filled the room with. So the two brothers, the father and Sarah, walked into the room, and the brothers laughed with great delight because the only thing sitting in the room was a candle, a lit candle. And the brothers thought for sure their sister had simply given up. But the father, with a knowing smile, had realized that he had found the heir to his throne, for his daughter had filled every single space of that room with light. I know it's exciting, isn't it? In our Torah portion this week, Ki Tisa, our ancestors could have benefited from Sarah's ability to see the world differently. Having waited more than 5 weeks for Moses to return from Mount Sinai with the law, they grow fearful. What if Moses never returns? How will they connect with God without their proven leader? And so they come up with a path to connect to God, a very troubling path. Like the Egyptians whose land they had left not long ago, they decided to make a statue, a golden calf that would allow them to connect with God. Unfortunately, building a statue to pray to God was against one of the very first laws they received from God at Mount Sinai just 5 weeks ago. Like Jonathan and Michael, Sarah's older brothers, the Israelites can't conceive of a world different from the one they know. They need someone or something tangible to look out to and make them feel safe. But Sarah, on the other hand, could see what wasn't there. She looked at the room and saw potential. Potential she realized when she filled that room with light. And so, friends, we too must learn to look at the world like Sarah. Sometimes the world isn't the way we want it to be. Sometimes the world can even be scary, filled with the unknown, people we don't know, ideas we've never been exposed to. But it's only when we open our mind to the possibilities, when we take that courageous step of trying something new, of meeting a stranger and seeing the world through their eyes for the very first time, of embracing that which is unexpected and different, then we have true excitement in our lives. Then, like Sarah, we can inherit this kingdom we've been given and create a world filled with the light of love and peace among us all. We're going to continue by celebrating this joy of Shabbat, this joy of seeing one another in this venue with our Kiddush, which you can find on page 5. We invite our second grade teachers to join us in leading the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר לציון מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל עמים ושבת
can be found on page 282 in our Siddurim.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום
Please have a seat. Now, friends, at the beginning of this service, as I do recall, I think I did mention that there may come a time during the service when we have to quiet ourselves, and if need be, if we're having trouble quieting ourselves, we may need to take a little break, because right now, there are people who want to take some time to remember their friends and their loved ones who would be here tonight with them if they could, but they can't. And so, we invite anyone who's currently sitting Shiva, the first 7 days of mourning for the loved one, or Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for a loved one, or the first year of mourning for a parent, or observing the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the loss of a loved one, we ask you to please rise. Now, if it's all right with you, Cantor and I are going to come around. If you feel like sharing the name of your loved one this evening, you can share them out loud with us. If you don't, you don't have to. We're going to ask everybody to please stay quiet while we do this, though. We know it's hard. With our griefs and sympathies mingled, we invite our entire congregation to please rise on page 294 to recite Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shmei Rabba, Bialma Divra Cherute V'Amlich Malchute, B'chayechon V'yomechon U'v'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, B'agala U'bizman Kariv V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Ulolmei Maya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpoar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitale V'yitalal Shmei D'Kudisha B'richu, La'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbachata V'nechamata, Da'amiran Bi'alma V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael, V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael, V'yimru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort the bereaved among us wherever they may be. And together we say, Amen. Cantor, what are we singing tonight?
Let's conclude with Adon Olam, page 321. That was easy. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Koyet Sir Nivra, Le'et Nasa B'Chetzoko,
said, we do have some parting instructions. If you've never been here before, or you've been here a million times, Cantor and I would love to say hi to you as soon as you leave the sanctuary. If you're a second grade family or somehow attached to a second grader, maybe a special friend, we're going to ask you after you grab some challah to go right out back. You're going to follow Miss Weiser to the left, where we're going to enjoy our Shabbat dinner. But for now, let us break bread together. Cantor.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu